lively start to a webinar as any. Here we are, TrilbyTV, taking you through what is new. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Tom. I'm joined by the ever awesome Terry.
Hello.
We are the customer success managers here at TrilbyTV. And what that means is we get to experience all the awesomeness that is TrilbyTV and take you through it as well. Not just the platform, but also ideas and inspiration for what is a very powerful communication tool to reach out to your school communities. Just to start, a couple of thank yous. The first is to the product and design team who have worked endlessly to make some of this content available. I've been here a couple of years now, and I know that some of the content that we'll be showing you today was being discussed a couple of years ago. Some of these changes aren't instantaneous, and the team have worked incredibly hard to make some of this really vibrant content available to multiple platforms. The other thank you is to you, the lovely users of TrilbyTV. Without your feedback, we don't get to experience how schools are really using this platform. So it's lovely to hear ideas from you, what you want to do with the platform, because that can help shape what the product will do. All the time, we will be thinking about our core mantra of keeping things simple, but your ideas will, of course, play into that and help with what we'll be looking at today. So, as simple as the thank yous are, we will move on to looking at what's new. That's why you're here today on this wonderful Thursday. So let me share my screen and we can get underway with looking at some of the fabulous stuff available. So in that kitchen cook-esque element, here's some I made earlier. These will be playing shortly. In the background is where I'll have my TrilbyTV player. And what I'm going to do is just take you through some of this new content, add it in, and then we can just sit back, relax, and watch some of that content at play. I've started with the social slide. Something very important for your school communities, being able to reach out in the multiple platforms that are out there for social media. So the likes of YouTube and Instagram and X and Facebook and YouTube, we've got all of them lined up, ready to go, along with our website just underneath, because another core area to find out more about us. It's a very simple process that we'll take you through. It's going to be a case of just going to the add menu. And you may have seen this change in the last couple of weeks, and you may see that we now have smart content available here in the add menu. What used to be tucked away in the content catalog, which Terry will be taking us through later, we have now moved that over into the add menu. So here in add, I'm just going to jump to smart content. And as you saw it in the background, I was going to show you that the social slide is ready to go and easy to use. You simply click add to feed and you open up an editor to be able to put in your details. Here's where you can put your various usernames without needing the @. You can say a particular message if you want that above your text, and you can change, ever vital, making sure that that content fits the color and the branding of your school. You can do it in a variety of ways. The team have made this really accessible so that we can do RGB values, additional lights, and then into hex values as well. So just a simple click on the bar underneath allows me to change that, and I'll be doing that as I add more content later on. So that's how I got my social slide up and running. I jump back to the feed. I'm going to add in some more and we'll see what's available. The first one I'd like to add in is going to be the celebrations. Now this one I love because it's an animated slide, so all that confetti is falling in the background. So it's an eye-catching part when there's a bit of motion on the screen. At first it's a congratulations. It's there as an idea, but I like to add it in. Congratulations everyone for attending a TrilbyTV webinar. I'm going to change the background color. If you're like us, you can live with the idea that we now know what our hex values are in that very nerdy way. I'm just going to change my color to stand out as well. I'm going to do that the same. Charlie will be what's going on if I'm not using the proper shade of black that we chose. So with a save and close, I've added in some text, I changed the colors, as simple as that, and click save and close. And this will then open up into that typical view you'll get when you're adding content, whether it's your slideshows, your title slides. We need to approve that content, perhaps set it to a category if you've got those set up for your players. And then we can choose how long that plays and when in time. So I'm going to simply choose to approve it. I'm setting it to a category. And I'm going to change this to play for 10 seconds. I click save, and that's now added into the list of content that's going to be playing in the background. I'm going to add in more. Next, we're going to go for a countdown. Now, countdowns, I'm afraid, don't have the 30-second music that's infamous with the words, but we do have some nice, vibrant ways to create some content for the background image as well. I'm going to add in a message. Countdown to end of webinar, the most important thing to keep an eye on. Countdown to the end of the webinar, it could be a countdown to upcoming exams, it could be a countdown to the end of break. There's a variety of reasons you might want a countdown, and something that will always, or I'll personally always say with countdowns and saying things like exams, is making sure that you've got other content available to show your support for what is always a very stressful time for students. Harking back to being a teenager, to have that countdown on its own could be quite jarring. So some supporting messages, so things like you'll find in our content catalogue, like the A to Z of managing stress, could just be something that fits alongside that really nicely. I'm going to set in the date. We are on the 15th, and we set a time. What point in time do we need that to end? So if our break was ending at 11, I could put 11 o'clock here as well and change my message to end of break. So we choose 11 to the precise seconds in AM. And again, I'm just going to choose some background colors. 3, and our text color being precisely what we need it to be. Here's where you can add in additional colors or backgrounds, sorry. I'm just going to save and close for the meantime and then go back into this just to show you what's available. So again, just a click of save and close. That's going to take us to that next panel where we're going to be able to approve it. The most important part, to make sure that it shows on your screens. Set it to a category. Where do we need it to play? Okay, I'll put it in the canteen as well. And we set how long that's going to be on the screen for. If, of course, obviously you don't need it after a particular date, I could say, well, actually, let's just delete this event. We could delete that on the 15th. I'm going to say 12. We definitely don't need it by then. And save. We'll jump back to the feed. We'll have that added in now as well. And with that idea of setting it to be auto deleted, I've got a nice little marker to show that as well. Jumping back into the countdown and adding that to the feed. It's just the idea, some of these things you'll see crop up with options for inspirational quotes and other elements. If I was to put in a nice keyword, teaching, we could set some nice backgrounds. We've got things, a variety of different formats. We could choose a clock with a big countdown. And I like some of these images take us from IKEA into Hook with some wonderful collection of clocks that are available out there. These images are all pulled in from a particular source online and just enable you to select at your variety. You can also upload your own image as well, just to make sure that you've got a particular background that you want to use. Next is one of the very latest additions and something that has proven very popular already and was really introduced because of feedback from the users of TrilbyTV, and that's house points. We saw that a lot of people were uploading slides where there was a particular number set for the house points, and then every week they would have to upload a new image. So they were manually making it elsewhere, uploading it to TrilbyTV, and then making the changes via that way. So Housepoints has been brought in to enable you to just quickly edit those numbers and have this really adaptive background to it. I'm going to add this to the feed, and we're going to have a look at building these in. Now, I'm going to do this very quickly, and I'm going back to my primary just to get an idea of some of the houses. So I'm going to add in 4 houses. You can have up to 8, and I'm going to give Bailey, who I was the house member of, we're going to be on 100 points. Our title, we're going to call it House Point Competition. We're going to say from Monday 12th. What was it, Monday the 12th? Let me get my dates correct. Monday the 12th to Friday the 16th of February. Again, we can choose things like our house colors, and I've got a max points available. We're going to set that just to 1,000. Now, even this is quite an adaptable part. We've seen some schools are going up to a couple of hundred, some are in the tens of thousands for their points. So you can set how big that is. You might want to change that in the year so the menus aren't too small to begin with, and you can adapt that later on. So let's add in some more houses. Let's add in Armstrong, who were indeed yellow. They're going to be close behind with 95. We've got Wilson with green, who are itching ever closer at 94. And then Thomas, she tried to get by with 80 points as well. So I've set in the houses, set their colors, set their names, set that total value up. I'm going to change that to 500 so it's nice and big as well, and save and close. Again, take us to this loading part where we're going to set it to be approved. We're going to set where it needs to play, and again, on particular dates as well. Now, in this instance, I'm not going to set a date, because what I'm going to do is, after I've clicked save, is just show you obviously how that will adapt and change as time goes on. If I was to click edit, rather than then having to go and create that image elsewhere and upload it again, I can quickly pop to here and say Armstrong have taken the lead with 102 points. We save and close, and what we should see is that background color will change depending on who is in the lead. So a really nice bright guide, quick to see who is ahead in the house point competition. And obviously each time we need to update for those little titles, if you wanted to have it listed like that, I could just go in and edit, change those dates that it's then set for. Next, we'll have a look at one which I always love to add in, and it's the birthday slides. It's not necessarily new, but all of this content is now available for Apple TV, other than our 3 latest slides. So things, celebrations, awards, and house points are going to be coming very soon. But for the meantime, this content, so from clock onwards, this is now available for Apple TV. So these things were off mark because there isn't a web browser on the Apple TV, but we have now made this accessible. So if you are using Apple TVs in your school, delve in, have a go with some of the smart content. Simply add to the feed. Now, what I'm going to do is what you should probably most likely have, which is a CSV file, which you're able to select in and add to TrilbyTV. If I go to my slides, I'm able to add in. So I'm just going to add in our name. Let's have Terry. It's your birthday today. Here on the 15th, we simply add a birthday. We can use a CSV file and browse through to pull that in and select, obviously, then a whole list of names and date of births that are ready to go. We've been able to change the birthday message as well, something that has come in within the last few months. So we can keep that as happy birthday, and no birthdays. We'll add in our first gaming reference of the day, which is the cake is alive. Let's add in a couple of names. We'll put in Mr. Emery as well. Here it is on the 15th. We simply add your birthday, save and close, and away we go. Whilst that adds in, again, approve, categorize, save, and away we go. Ten seconds, playing in the foyer, please. Now, the next one is my fresh out the oven. Here's one I made earlier, and it is the staff boards. Now, with the staff boards, I've used it in a different way. Now, staff boards are a fantastic thing to have, and some schools have added them already using a different platform like Adobe or Canva or PowerPoint to make them. But with the staff boards, I found it's really great to have, especially in that reception area, something like your safeguarding team. Having the faces there for those year sevens or primary age, if you're coming in at reception, visually, who can I speak to if I need to speak to an adult? So I always love seeing the staff boards in use because it shows that as a team, you are accessible, you are approachable to those students in your community. And to parents as well, knowing who they may need to speak to, especially with visitors coming in as well. So I'm going to just click edit on the staff boards that I've added already because I'm missing one. And so I'm going to add in and just show you what that page would look like if you had gone to the add menu, smart content, and then added in from scratch what the staff board would look like. It would take you to a page very similar to the others we've had. We need to put in a name. It's Catherine Parr. We need to set a particular role. So this could be principal and head teacher. This could be designated safeguarding leads. This could be head of department. So you've now got 2 role positions, so you can put that detail in. I'm going to do it with dates, 1512 to 1548, and survived. I'm sure all teachers want that at the end of the day. So survive the day, and simply then browse through our content. And I pop to my desktop, grab the picture of Catherine Parr. And the reason I wanted to add this one in and just show this accessible, because you can edit the photo. You can just click on the photo, we can change this border where that fits, and we can resize that as well. So I want to make sure that whole picture is successful. I'm going to add the staff member in. If we need to, we could always come back and change some of those details later, clicking on the little pen and paper tool, that's an edit, and then the plus to save. Scroll down, again, we've just got the idea of the background color, the text color, we save and close, and that additional staff member has now been added. As a last for content to add before showing some of the other items that were already loaded up earlier, I'm going to add in a really simple one, which again has come from feedback from the users of TrilbyTV. We want a clock. Obviously, you can use your communication tool to reach out to a variety of members of your community. You can be sharing positive messages, celebrating what the community is up to, getting that sort of welcomed and appreciated and understood sort of emotional response through your digital signage. And other times, you just want a clock. You just want to know what time it is. Nice, big, bright visual clock. I'm simply going to click on and then add that into TrilbyTV as well. I'm going to add to feed, enter message, time to be excellent. We can choose between an analog and a digital. I'm going to choose analog to really trouble the children of today. And we can have things like the show date as well. Let's have our background color, again, sticking with our particular colors, because branding is always key importance. And think of the same for yourself. It helps the school members and the community know that it's from the school if it matches your branding and colours. It helps visitors. If you're in a mat, know that going from site to site, you've got that coherence and standardisation. Save and close. Again, approve. And then we'll go through 3 simple parts which have been preloaded already. These loading breaks are a perfect moment for your cups of tea. So we approve, set to the foyer, 10 seconds, and save. Now, some of this content that's already been added to my feed, which I just wanted to highlight. One of the latest, and one of the, again, that's message of positivity, reaching out. And there can be a variety of reasons that you might want to celebrate what people are up to. It could be attendance, it could be achieving a high grade, it could be achieving a grade that for that particular person was higher than expected. It's really that understood and appreciated sort of element for the hard work that people put in. It could be someone staying late as a staff member to cover for others. There can be a variety of reasons. And so adding that in is a fantastic way to celebrate. Here I've made one for Terry, attending all of your lessons.
Amazing.
And what I was wanting to highlight by just, again, going into that edit menu, I'm just going to close this down and pop up. So each of these, as we're adding in items, it's adding in your own content. So if we need to edit it, it's tucked up here in the top left. I'm going to edit. I'm going to keep the text the same, but I'm going to change it from a rosette. You're going to have a trophy instead.
Yeah. I love a trophy.
That winning moment. So with a quick change, we can keep it brighter visual. There you are with your 100% attendance trophy. We've saved, and I can pop back to the feed, and there it is, ready to go. Now, it's already been added because I've already told it to go to the foyer. I loved using this little filter tool to say, hey, what's being told to go to the foyer? Well, I know this awards is, so I can just simply click approve, and that's going to be added into the feed as well of things showing. 2 more to go. The next I've got is the inspirational quotes. Now, the inspirational quote is packed with, I think, 20 or more really nice sort of heartwarming messages. And it's the type of thing that you read and you just smile. And I love this one from Roald Dahl. If you have good thoughts, they'll shine out of your face like sunbeams and you will always look lovely. To build on that, I've actually used this for staff, student, parent, visitor feedback. You're going to have feedback, and that's the real great thing that you can bring to the front and showcase at your school. We see them on school websites when we're doing training and we're looking for some content to make use of. There are sites that really do love to celebrate what their community says about them. It's a fantastic thing. We go, when we're looking online to buy things, we sometimes look to that feedback from others and we harness that human connection that, hey, this is a great place to be. So what I've added in is some nice messages from Mr. Emery, our teacher. I've added in from Benjamin. We've added a nice one of our students has added in a lovely message about their favorite lesson. And then a parent has added in one of the messages that they had as well. You simply add in what that quote is, who it is that said it. And again, similar to the countdown, you can add in a background image which searches from a particular list online. We would then add the quote if we wanted to have a go at adding a new, and save and close. So you might just want to add it in and leave it there as that feedback of all the, or leave it as those inspirational quotes. I've just changed the name down here. So rather than being inspirational quotes, I've changed it to be school feedback. I'm going to approve it. It's going to play for 10 seconds and save. And what that 10 seconds means is each one will have 10 seconds. It'll show one, and then it will move on to the next item in your content feed. And then when it comes back up again, it will have the different message on there. So it just shows one at a time, and it will change that and cycle through the content. As a final part, we've got some notice cards as well. Now, notice cards are a really nice, bright stack of sticky notes, effectively, and you could have a myriad of reasons for why you want to use them. It could be advertising a club, it could be that a staff member is ill, it could be asking parents to bring in a particular signed form by a date. Again, you can use this communication tool to reach out to everyone that's in that particular space. You yourself may not be able to say welcome to everyone, but by having this on your signage, you can just make sure that anyone walking past is going to have sight of that. Okay, if I just go into edit, we can see what that looks like. We can add in a particular notice. You can make sure what that note color and the background colors look like. And really nice detail for your notice cards is there might be a time limit to them. A particular notice can actually set when it's going to show from and when it's going to show until. So you can leave these sort of loaded with perhaps one particular message always there, and then other ones can just filter in and out. They will appear when they need to and disappear when they're set to. So I've got a couple of messages. I'm going to go and approve that, set that to the foyer. I didn't click save, so I'm not going to leave the page just yet. I've approved it, categorized it, saved it, and back to the feed. So my last to approve is my staff board of Henry VIII's wives. And then let's sit back and just have a little moment just to watch some of that content play. Happy birthday, Terry. Happy birthday, Neil.
Thanks.
Here's our house competition with Armstrong just in the lead. It's that yellow moving background just to catch the eye and bring a little bit more engagement to this image. 32 minutes to the countdown, so I've got 2 minutes left to show an additional part before I hand over to Terry to take us through the rest. Congratulations to everyone for sitting in and watching this so far. And that confetti in the background, that nice bit of movement. A nice quote from Mr. Emery, one of our teachers. I couldn't imagine teaching at any other school. Again, that sort of content would cycle each time, so the next one that pops up would see it be some of the other messages. Terry with her winning trophy for the reward of 100% attendance. Our socials where we started. Our clock. Big and bold. Obviously, you can see I've actually set the corners of my players. So I have always got a time and a date set into this. But the idea of corners is to sit there unobtrusively on your content, just to be sat there as a continuous part. That clock is real big full screen. And we've seen some schools just set that as a single item onto their feed. Right, as a very, very final part to it, I'm going to add in the part which I think has been in the years making, and that's the calendar feed. Now, the calendar has always been there as a way you could add through Google and Microsoft through web content, adding it as web content to TrilbyTV from the add menu. But now calendar has been brought in on its own. You can use an ICS link to pull in your data. I'm going to say what's on today. I'm going to change this from calendar feed to Trilby Academy. What's on today at Trilby Academy. Then we can change things like the background colors, what the events are. I'm just going to change that around. Let's change these colors. So we've got 7. And our events are going to be our infamous teal as well. I'm going to approve. Set it to category. Now, there is no timing. The times will last are automatic. They're automated. They will show as long as there is content available. So it will show you everything, both for your day and for your week layout. And what I'm going to do is, rather than just jump back to my player in the background, I'm just going to click on the preview here to showcase what that will look like. So here's Trilby Academy, what's happening today. It will do it as a live, so it's going to show from the latest. It's not showing perhaps any content or anything that was happening at, say, 9:30 or 8:30, because that time has passed, so that list will shorten as the day goes on. And here on the right-hand side, we can see that it is just taking us through the remainder of the week with this little loading pill underneath, just showing what's happening. Now here we can see that there's actually 2, and this would be the same for your main day page as well. If you've got lots of content happening, it will just take you through for a particular set time and then move on to the rest. So having set, having added, that is the latest smart content from TrilbyTV as well as calendar. And just to reiterate, all of that smart content other than the 3 latest, so celebrations, awards, and house points, not on Apple TV just yet, but going to be coming soon. And the calendar is hopefully going to be before the end of the month. give us a couple of weeks just to get that added in as well. Thank you very much for looking at smart content. I'll hand over to the ever awesome Terry.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Tom, for taking us through that. Lots of really exciting stuff that's coming. So I hope you feel inspired to start using some of it. So I'm just going to share my screen and we'll start looking at the content catalogue. So there we go. Okay, so our content catalogue, you may have seen it before, you may have used it before. It used to previously be under this add menu, but it's actually changed now. So it's now in its own little space on this left-hand side. So if I just click into here, you can see our content catalogue, and it's a whole host and catalogue of resources that have been provided by various people. So we've created some, we have some from people like the Safeguarding Company, from Mr. B Teach, and they're all resources that you can use that you can just add really easily to your feed. So these are things that cycle through, that change each time they come up. And they're just really good, impactful, nice big pieces of content that you can use. So really easily, you can just add them. And I've already got a couple up. So if I just show you how they work on my player. So I'll just move that into view. So you can see here that we've got some of our journal ones. And we've also got the WWF, and you'll see they just cycle through and they change and show some really nice information, some facts, and really good for kind of the journal one, for instance, is great for if you've got exams coming up. You might want to give information on how to stay calm and stress-free, and you'll see an example of that here. So it's from the Safeguarding Company. And what have we got? Why for yoga? So there we go. So do 15 minutes of yoga and stretching to help you relax. So say we've also got some great new content. So that's why we're looking at this today. So I'm just going to move that out of the way. So not only have we got some great stuff that we've already got, so we've got quite a host here, but you'll see these first couple of rows where we've got LGBTQ pioneers. So information about people that in the LGBTQ plus community that are pioneers in their field, whether that's in society, whatever that might be. We've got some cool space facts. So if I just click onto here, we can go and have a look. I think it's about 50 or so space facts that will just rotate round. So if I click into there, you'll see the universe is ever expanding. Okay. And if I go back to the catalogue, we've got things for science, so electrical symbols for Key Stage 3 and 4, as well as Key Stage 2. We have new academic word lists, so some really powerful words that you'll see in various subjects, and those will come up, and these will just cycle through each time they come up in your feed. We also have international events, so recently it was Pancake Day, Shrove Tuesday, so that would have come up on your feed. We've got, again, LGBTQ History Month, things like Black History Month will come up on there. So anything that's a nice, big, important event that's going to share that information to students. We also have whose flag is this? So a bit of interaction, bit of food for thought. So if we click onto there, we have whose flag is this? So I'm terrible with flags, unfortunately. None of my time watching Big Bang Theory has helped at all with the world of flags. So that was Barbados. There we go. And that will again cycle through each time. There'll be a different flag with a different options for people to maybe sit back for just a few seconds and have a think about what flag it is and learn some geography, which maybe I should do. Maybe I should sit and look at this for a little bit. So as I say, we've got some really great new content. So it's really easy to add to the feed. As I say, this is really great, easy wins for you to get information up on your feed. So you can see that we've got this add to feed button here. So if I click to add that, it really is that simple. So that's just going to go onto the feed there. So once that's done, we can obviously approve it and it will start playing. It's on a little go slow now. Oh, there we go. Okay, great. So we can see that we can approve the content. We can add it to any categories that we might want to show it on. And then we can save that content. And then if I bring up my player, you'll start to see that will show in my feed. If we leave that there for a moment, if I just go back to our feed, you can see that it's in there, and that will start coming up. So you can see it's been added, it's approved, and in a moment that will start coming through. So again, these are really great. So if you think about maybe places where your screens are around your school, so if you have maybe a geography department where you might want to show the flags, if you've got hallways or that are near certain subjects that you might want to show science or world faiths, have a think about where those are going to have the most impact and where people are going to really be able to get the most from those screens and that content. So there we go. So we've seen some nice content there. Okay. So the other thing that we're going to go through today is actually kind of some tips and tricks of what you can do for your content to make it most impactful and really give you the best chance of having a really good impact on students, getting to make sure that they're seeing it, it's engaging. And so there's quite a few ways that we can do that. And one way that we actually kind of always suggest is using Canva. So Canva's actually free for education. So if you go onto the Canva website, you can sign up there and you get all of the cool stuff that we don't get. So if I go over to Canva, you can see it's a really great tool, and it does some really, really awesome pieces of content. There's some great resources on there. You can use things like presentations, and you can do some really exciting stuff for things like canteens. You can do exciting things for having presentations about newsletters. So something that we often see and that can sometimes happen is that people might put up newsletters that might look something like this. And it's great that you want to get that information out there. There's a lot of information in your newsletters that are sometimes on your website that you want to pull that content from, things that are going on in your local community, things that are going on such as trips, or maybe it's events that are coming up in the school. You've got theatre productions, you've got exams coming up that you want to highlight. And while this is great information, what we want to do is make that into information that's actually usable for digital content and digital signage. So just putting out those key information and making it nice and big and bright and bold means that you're going to have much more of an impact on your students, your teachers, your parents are going to see that when they're coming into that reception, and having that information nice and big is going to provide you with much more impactful, engaging outcomes. So really nice to be able to use something like this. And again, it's free for you guys. You'll see there's a lot of content on there that has this little pro icon, which would be available to you. It also means that you can do things like resizing your documents and changing orientation, which is really useful when it comes to your digital signage. Because obviously a lot of things that we use is in landscape, unless you do have some portrait screens. The other thing that you can use to really make an impact is things like Google Slides. So again, you can use these to make some really nice content, and you can embed these on your feed. So if I go back to my feed, you can start to see some of this content. So what I'll do is I'll just go onto here and show you how that looks. And you can see it's nice and big and bold. And if I start putting that into my feed, so I'm just going to approve it here and approve some of this nice content. So one of the things that I mentioned on this newsletter, for instance, is we've got some school clubs. So why not make a nice big school club event, digital signage content? So if I go back onto my feed, you can see, wrong button there we go, that I've got this nice big bold book club sign. Come on Mondays, 3:30 till 4:30. It's got where we're going. It's going to catch people's eye, and it's going to be engaging, and people are going to see that and go, oh, book club, that sounds fun. Love a good book club. Let's go and investigate that and see what it's about. So what we can do is we can just approve all this content, and we can approve things like the menus. So what's great about Canva and about using Google Slides is it's things that you can go in and edit, so you don't need to make any changes on the Trilby content feed side. You can just go in and you can make changes on this slide that will then be replicated in the system. So if I start to show you my feed again, we'll just sit back and let that cycle through, and you'll start seeing that nice big bold content coming through. There we go, we've got our piece from our content catalogue there, so we've got some LGBTQ plus information, and when that cycles through, we'll start to see that other content. So we'll just leave that to run for a second and we'll start seeing that come through. I just go back onto there so you can see. So it does take about 60 seconds to refresh, so you might not see things instantly. So just bear that in mind when you are adding new content. It's not instant in that second. It is going to take about 60 seconds for that to come through and start showing that new content or any changes that you have made. This is a good spot for me to have a sip of my water. And there we go. So we can see that content coming through. And obviously you can change how long those slides appear for, so you can make sure that people have got time to read that content. Here's our newsletter coming up. And you can see that's much more impactful having a straight up newsletter that you've maybe copied from a PDF, because we can really see that information. We've got time to sit and read that information. You can have that so that it's in a reception area or a foyer, so that your parents and any visitors that are coming into the school can see that information. So there we go. Hopefully that's inspired some ideas for you, so you can make some great content for yourselves. If you do have any questions on it, obviously we are here. You can ask us any questions you might have, and we're always happy to help. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is our Trailblazers. So we are launching our Trailblazers 2024, and that's open now. So this is an opportunity for you to share all the great things that you do with your digital signage and inspire other people to follow in your footsteps. So what that is we have 3 different areas that you can put projects in for. So we've got classroom showcasing, innovative usage, and community engagement. And you can have a project and showcase anything to do with that. We've got some key dates here. So the entries are open now. Your submissions need to be in by the 15th of March. And then we will have a nice big award ceremony on the 27th of March. The deadline is the 15th. So that's a chance for you and your students to really showcase what you're doing within the school. And if you take part, and you'll get some nice merchandise as well as a well done. So yeah, that's a really great thing to be able to do. Please do apply. It's really exciting for us to see what you guys are doing. And yeah, we look forward to seeing everything that you're doing. So yeah, get those entries in. The other last thing for me to talk about is our blog. So we do have a blog here on our website, which is full of great case studies, things that are coming up in TrilbyTV, so any things that are new. So we do, when we have our releases, we'll put things out on there to let you know. But it's a really good spot to go and really get some great information, have a look around, see what other people are doing, see what other academies and schools are doing, and find out what's new. So please do go and investigate that. And I think that's all from me. So hopefully, I say that you've learned some great stuff between me and Tom that you're going to go and use, and we're excited to see what you come up with. As Tom mentioned, thank you very much to our team on our side for bringing all this to us, because it's really great to have this accessible for you guys to use. And thank you for Tom sharing the other part of the content today. Hope you guys have enjoyed it.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. What I might do is just leave the content, smart content I've got playing. I'll just leave that up on the screen, actually, just for these final few minutes, so you can just see that sort of rotating through. We've had some great questions and interaction from our viewers today. So I'll just leave these up on the screen just to give you a nice sort of send off into your Thursday, giving you some ideas as what you might want to impress if you are on half term. Thank you very much for joining us, putting aside your personal time to do that. But hopefully you might give some nice wow moments with people looking up on the screen on Monday if you're going to get some of this content up on your displays. No pressure from us to do that. You can obviously do that in your own time. But this could be some of that real eye-catching, easy wins that you can have available. So this will just, I'll leave cycling through so you can see some of those things like the notice cards popping up. You can see that variety and things like the inspirational quotes happening. And that way you can just have a nice idea to the type of things that you could be celebrating and approaching in your school communications. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much. Hope you all have a great half term or rest of the day if you're still in school. Especially those, yes, still in school. Well, with 12 minutes and 12 seconds remaining as well. So it's some spare time to make your own cups of tea. As you can see, we live on that here at TrilbyTV. And what I'm wanting to carry on with until is just going through that cycled content, especially in the notice cards, so we can have a nice sort of welcome back and a particular messages, those key ones that you have to have, as well as those inspirational quotes, which I've twisted to be used as staff and community feedback. There it is. I couldn't leave until Benjamin's, now his favourite lesson being history, had been approached. And a final well done, yes, for Terry. Brilliant. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Until next time.